It's so easy to get the wrong idea about boundaries, which is precisely why some people think boundaries are code for, I don't know, being cold or being distant or being unkind, and others believe that they have them firmly in place. But by learning to identify, communicate, and maintain healthy boundaries, you give yourself a better chance of feeling in control of your life, having a positive view of yourself, and of staying connected to the people you care about. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 types of boundaries that are essential for maintaining your sense of self, your well-being, and the health of your relationships. And I'll also suggest some examples of how to communicate them. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm Nick, and I'm a husband, dad, registered counselor, and certified coach. And on this channel, I share ideas, tips, and practical tools designed to help you manage, make progress, and succeed in life. If, like me, you're committed to your own ongoing personal development and you want to take steps to live your best life, then I've got you covered. So be sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon so you can be notified of future videos. But before we get into it, if as part of your personal growth, you'd like to get more clarity about how you want your life to look in the next few years, then be sure to download my free 5-step guide to creating your ideal future. There'll be a link to it in the description. It probably helps to first be clear about what a boundary is. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to define boundaries as the guidelines we put in place to make clear how we want to be treated by other people. In other words, your boundaries are the limits you put in place to help other people know what you consider to be reasonable, safe, and permissible in different contexts, or the things that you're willing to tolerate or accept. And it's because some people lack understanding of what boundaries are that identifying, communicating, and maintaining your own is really important if you want any chance of having successful relationships. So if you want some boundaries in life to help improve your well-being and relationships, here are 4 types for you to consider getting started with. First on the list are emotional boundaries. Now, emotional boundaries are those which protect your right to psychological safety. They're about safeguarding your feelings from people who may not respond helpfully. You know what it's like. We've all come across insensitive people, the people who seem unable to maintain our confidence, or they have a knack of pivoting every single conversation back to them, or they're just unable to respond in a way that we think is appropriate when we're sharing our information. So when setting emotional boundaries, it's really about deciding who to give your emotional energy to and to what degree you'll take on the emotional energy of others. And this could look like saying things like, it's really hard for me to share with you when I feel you're not listening to me or taking on board the impact of what I'm being open about. Or, I'm not in the best place to take all of this in right now. Could we agree to come back to this conversation another time? Or another example could be saying something like, I'm uncomfortable with talking about personal problems at work. I prefer to keep the 2 areas of my life separate. You see, managing emotional boundaries means being really clear on where you're happy to share or take in emotional information. It's about getting clear on when, where, how, and with whom to share. The second type of boundary is probably the most obvious of all, and it's physical boundaries. And this is because you're probably used to the idea of personal space and how other people engage and interact with you. But when identifying your physical boundaries, it's not only important to think about what would make you feel uncomfortable, like someone coming into your room without permission, but also to be clear on what you want and need. For example, although you might not want someone in your personal space, you'll also want to be listened to and respected when you communicate a need for rest because you're tired, or drink because you're thirsty, or food to satisfy your hunger. So when communicating your physical boundaries, you might say something like any of the following. 1, before coming into my room, please knock and wait for me to say come in. 2, it's been a long day and I'm tired, I'm going to get some sleep now. 3, I need to eat something, so I'm gonna break for some lunch. Or lastly, no, I don't want to be touched like that. Third on the list is time boundaries, which relate to protecting what you choose to do with the hours you have in the day. You see, time is arguably your most valuable asset, as it's the one thing you can't get back. So protecting it is key to maintaining health and success in life. A helpful way to start identifying your time boundaries is to get clarity about your priorities. And this is because once clear about what's important in life, you'll be able to allocate time to various responsibilities with less risk of overcommitting. Some simple examples of time boundaries might be deciding to only check work-related emails during work hours, or choosing to use your first hours in the day for exercise, prayer, or meditation, or deciding to be in bed before a set time each night. The kind of statements I've personally communicated to manage my time boundaries are things like, I can only stay for an hour. Thanks for asking, but I won't have time for that this month. I'm unavailable that week, so if possible, I'll need this project completed and returned to me before then. Okay, before we move on to the fourth and final boundary, let me know if you're finding value in this video by clicking the like button. Your click lets YouTube know I'm offering value, so please do me a favor and click the like button now. The fourth type of boundary I want to cover is intellectual, which relates to the right you have to protect your own beliefs, views, and ideas. You see, as far as these are concerned, what's important here is seeing a willingness from others to respect differences. You see, if you find your beliefs, thoughts, suggestions, or ideas are being shut down, rubbished, dismissed, or ignored, then there's a good chance you're not communicating any intellectual boundaries. Some examples of what it might sound like to communicate intellectual boundaries include saying things like, 1, we don't seem to be getting anywhere on this issue. Let's agree to avoid talking about this for now. 2, I can accept that we disagree on this, but I'm really not comfortable with having my views laughed at or belittled. Or 3, I can accept and respect that we have a different view on this. So let's just move on. Remember, although it's good to respect other people's right to hold different views, your intellectual boundaries are those which help you to determine when it's right to end conversations with those holding potentially harmful or damaging views. Okay, there you go. 4 types of boundaries and how you might consider communicating them. Here's a quick recap. 1, emotional boundaries, those which protect your right to psychological safety. 2, physical boundaries, those protecting your physical needs. 3, time boundaries, those protecting what you choose to do with your time. And 4, intellectual boundaries, those protecting your right to have your own views, beliefs, and opinions. Another important thing to remember before we end is that boundaries will look different for everyone, and that's okay. But when setting yours, it's important to avoid feeling guilty about communicating what you're willing to accept and what you need, because in the end, your boundaries are about ensuring your well-being and the health of your relationships. Okay, we've reached the end of this video, so here's a question for you to consider. How helpful would it be to clarify and communicate your own boundaries? And if you did, where would you start? I'd really love to hear from you, so take a moment to share in the comments. Also, if you found this video helpful, please click the like button, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to be notified of future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Rooting for you. Be well.